The Argan Empire had now spread throughout the planet in a galaxy with little resistance. After they took control of the planet, their standing as an invincible military force with cutting-edge technology only increased with each conquest. They were in control and had no competitors who could contest their superiority. Now, they focused on a tiny, seemingly unimportant blue Earth-like planet at the galaxy's edge. To the Argans, Earth was little more than just another simple triumph in a long series of victories. Humanity, which they thought was a primitive race, had made some technological advancements, space travel, primitive energy weapons, and a basic understanding of galactic politics, but nothing that could pose a threat to the Argans' power. The generals of the Empire didn't even consider the possibility that Earth would be difficult to invade. Swiftly, the decision was made. The riches of the planet would become part of the expanding empire. The choice to move against Earth wasn't even met with much opposition in their ranks. Resource analysts had noted that Earth was abundant in minerals, and its strategic position could serve as a base of operations for further expansion. To them, humanity's fate was sealed. It was just a matter of time before Earth bent to their will like so many worlds before. However, before the fleet was dispatched, a message arrived from Earth. The Argans had expected a desperate appeal for mercy. Instead, they received a simple warning: do not come. If you bring war, we will defend ourselves. The message was transmitted across the stars and delivered to the heart of the Argan leadership. The High Command of the Empire convened to discuss it, but few took it seriously. The room erupted in laughter as generals and admirals mocked humanity's arrogance. How could Earth, a backwater planet, possibly stop the Argan fleet? Their ships were more advanced. Their weapons were vastly superior. It was absurd to even think humanity could resist. At best, it would be another easy conquest, another planet crushed beneath the Empire's might. An admiral sneered. Let them try. The decision was unanimous. The fleet would move forward as planned. The warning was ignored. The Argans felt no urgency, no sense of concern. To them, this was nothing more than routine conquest. They expected Earth to fall in mere hours, perhaps days at most. The people would surrender or die, and the planet's resources would be harvested for the Empire's use. But the Argans had failed to understand one crucial thing. Unlike the countless worlds that had surrendered without resistance, humanity had spent its entire history preparing for moments like this. For millennia, humans had fought against each other, against nature, and now against an alien threat. From every battle, they had learned. From every war, they had adapted. Their warning was not a bluff. Although humanity did not desire war, they were unafraid of it. They had watched the Argan Empire from afar, studied its conquests, and learned from its mistakes. They knew brute force was not always the deciding factor in a war. While the Argans dismissed Earth's warning, humanity was preparing its final line of defense. On the surface, the planet appeared calm. Cities bustled with daily life. There was no widespread panic, no mass evacuations. Yet, hidden beneath the surface, Earth had been preparing for this moment. Secret weapons had been developed. Advanced defense systems had been positioned in critical locations. The crude energy weapons the Argans were accustomed to fighting against were nothing compared to what the humans had built in secret. The Argans had underestimated humanity. As the invasion fleet entered the Sol system, their confidence remained unshaken. Hundreds of ships, shining with cutting-edge alloys and armed with weapons capable of reducing entire worlds to rubble, advanced in perfect formation. It was an awe-inspiring sight, a demonstration of power that had brought countless civilizations to their knees. To the Argans, this was just another conquest. The lead ship, under the command of High General Druce, maintained contact with the fleet. An experienced strategist, Druce had an impeccable record. He had never lost a campaign. As he gazed at the tactical display of Earth expanding on the horizon, he felt only disdain. How foolish, he thought, that these humans dared to challenge the might of the Empire. Calmly, he gave the order. Begin with a show of force. Target their military installations. Wipe them out before they have a chance to retaliate. Weapon systems powered up. Drones were deployed to disable Earth's defenses. Everything proceeded as it had in every previous conquest. Then, something went wrong as the drones entered Earth's atmosphere. They vanished. At first, the Argons assumed it was a malfunction, but then the reports came in. Every drone had been disabled. Their systems simply shut down, falling towards the planet like useless scrap. Druce frowned. This wasn't supposed to happen. Before he could issue another command, his long-range sensors detected something alarming. Military targets on the surface were suddenly unreadable. Communications began to experience interference. Then, a ship reported its shields had gone offline. Another ship followed. One by one, Argon warships lost their defenses. Their advanced technology, believed to be infallible, was failing. The haughty confidence in Druce's command center turned to confusion. Then, fear. This wasn't supposed to happen. Earth wasn't supposed to have this kind of capability. Druce barked, orders to his officers. Prepare to fire! Wipe out their cities and we'll deal with their tricks later! But the moment for attack had passed. From far beneath the surface of Earth, the planet's hidden weapons came online. Massive energy beams erupted from concealed installations, striking with pinpoint accuracy. The first wave of Argon ships were disabled instantly. Their shields were useless, their weapon systems fried in seconds. Druce could only watch in horror as his flagship trembled under the impact. Half its weaponry went offline. The fleet was crumbling. One by one, ships powered down. Engines failed. The mighty Argon fleet, undefeated for centuries, was rendered powerless in a matter of seconds. Druce muttered in disbelief, "What is this?" Earth had not simply defended itself. It had dismantled the Empire's greatest fleet without even breaking a sweat. The Argons had ignored the warning. Now humanity had kept its promise. And in mere moments, the once mighty fleet of the Argon Empire was nothing more than floating wreckage. Earth had won, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Quietness filled the headquarters. There was a noticeable hush. Once, Druce had been certain of victory. Now he stood frozen in place, watching as the ruins of his once invincible fleet drifted aimlessly through space. Long-range communications were unavailable. Sensors had failed. Every attempt to regain control of the fleet's systems had ended in complete failure. The Argon Empire's greatest military force had been reduced to nothing more than a collection of helpless vessels suspended in the void. For the first time in his career, Druce felt real fear. This was no simple failure. This was a catastrophe. The Empire had never faced anything like this before. Earth had exceeded all expectations, turning what should have been a routine conquest into a devastating loss. People had warned them, but the arrogance of Argon's leadership had led them straight into this trap. The Vaughn hurried to salvage whatever they could, but the fleet was beyond saving. The energy attack had crippled their systems. Every ship had been struck with precision, their most vital components disabled. Even if the Argon fleet had the means to retaliate, it would have made no difference. Earth's defenses were too advanced, too precise. Druce's thoughts swirled in confusion. How had this happened? How could humanity, a species the Empire had deemed primitive, have created such powerful weaponry? The Argon Empire prided itself on being at the forefront of technological progress, yet Earth had retaliated with a level of refinement beyond anything they had imagined, as if they had been preparing, waiting, anticipating the day the Argons would come for them. And that was the most disturbing realization of all. Humanity hadn't just been preparing. They had been watching, observing the Argon Empire for years, studying their conquests, learning from the mistakes of those who had fallen before them. Earth had no desire for war, but they knew that eventually the Empire's gaze would fall upon them, and when it did, they would be ready. Druce couldn't believe it. How had all of this been happening right under the Empire's nose? The Argon Empire had the most advanced surveillance systems in the galaxy, yet they had completely failed to detect Earth's rise. The last message from the humans hadn't been arrogance. It had been a warning, a genuine offer for peace. But the Argons had ignored it. They had chosen war, and now they were paying the price. A garbled voice crackled to life through the static. Druce turned sharply toward the console, his heart pounding. The voice was calm, steady, human. "We requested peace," the voice said. "You chose war. Now you see the consequences." Druce clenched his jaw. Pride and fury warred within him. "How dare you speak to us with such arrogance?" he snarled. "You think this is a victory? You believe this means anything? You have defeated the mighty Argon Empire? This is nothing more than a temporary setback." There was silence for a moment. Then the voice returned, stronger, firmer. "We don't care about conquest," it said. "We don't seek to destroy your empire. But if you return, if you threaten us again, this will be your fate." Druce's fists tightened. He had never known such complete and utter defeat. Never encountered an enemy capable of turning the tide of battle so effortlessly. And yet, here he was, speaking to a mere human while the wreckage of the galaxy's most powerful fleet floated around him. The Argon Empire had nothing left to say. The humans had made their move, and now the Argons were paying the price. The voice spoke one last time. "Leave now, Argon fleet. There will be no second warning." Then, silence. Druce stood motionless on the bridge of his crippled flagship, staring into the endless expanse of space. His mind raced, desperately trying